Dear students, welcome to Study and Learn Academy. I am Dr. Ganpat Nagda, and today we will discuss a new topic, various schemes and policies for the conservation of nature in India. Introduction. In India, pollution and environmental degradation levels are alarmingly high due to poverty, deforestation and industrial development. Without adequate standard principles for conservation and sheer greed. Fortunately, the public sense of humor has revived and nature conservation has attained a top priority. Governments have enacted acts and regulations to diminish the rising damage of nature. Various schemes and policy for the conservation of nature have been proposed by the government. To make the process rapid, great emphasis must be paid to environmental education, people participation. The need for conserving the environment. Conservation of nature is an act of protecting the planet Earth for present and future generations. The most obvious reason for conserving the environment is to protect wildlife and promote diversity. Promoting wildlife and preserving these species must be the utmost concern as future generation may not be able to witness them, which is as we have diversity in species and we should strive to maintain a healthy and functional ecosystem. Some species cannot survive without the intervention of humans in their natural habitat, such as zoos and aquariums. Therefore, the destruction of their natural habitat will result in the extinction of the species. Besides, species that migrate or adapt to other habitats are also vulnerable, and preserving these species should help to prevent the harm it can cause to their ecosystem. Increasing number of extinction call for more importance and preservation. For a human being to survive on the planet, there is an absolute need to preserve nature. With climate change already causing havoc in our environment, safeguarding nature should be our topmost priority. Nature is the ultimate solution to saving mankind on the planet and cannot even preserve our nature. Our days are surely numbered. Nature is the only tool to fight against global warming, and our conservation work probably comes in handy. We can utilize nature's contribution to avoid the catastrophic increase in temperature. Everything is interconnected. One thing saves another thing. Climate change is a great risk to the planet, and as soon as we realize this, we can all work together to fight against it. Conservation of nature is important as it has a great impact on the human health, both in terms of preventing and the emergence of infectious disease. Having a wild habitat prevents the transmission of infectious disease from animals to humans. One such example is the outbreak of novel corona virus, which was caused by consuming undercooked meat. The virus has infected over 1.9 crore humans and the war is still going on. A lot of medicines that we use as humans are derived from chemicals that are produced by animals and plants. Therefore, by conserving and protecting nature, we can save ourselves. They also produce anti-cancer drugs and other medicines are used on humans. So basically, to survive on the planet, we need to protect nature. It is our best interest to preserve nature because the exploitation of the natural habitat will amount to scarcity in the supply of food and water, and things like pollution directly have adverse effects on humans. Recent statistics and studies on nature and environment. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change handles activities under the Convention on Biological Diversity, Nagoya Protocol Sharing, National Biodiversity Action Plan, National Report to the CBD and Nagoya Protocol, Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity, Act 2002, National Biodiversity Authority, and projects on biodiversity implemented through NBA. Listed below are a few international meetings in which India actively participated between 2019 and 2020. Sub-regional science policy dialogues for South and West Asia organized by the Secretariat of Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services under the leadership of Capacity Building for the Asia Pacific, held on 27-28 February 2019 in Nepal. Several sessions of the plenary of IPBES that was held in France from 28-4-2019 to 2-5-2019. An open-ending working group on the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework held in Kenya for 27-8-2019 to 28-8-2019. 23rd meeting of subsidiary body on scientific, technical and technological advice. 11th meeting of the ad hoc open-ended working group on article project on biodiversity finance initiative in 2015, which lay out a methodological framework for measuring expenditure on biodiversity, calculating the investment required for the implementation of NBAP and NBTs, and for developing nationally appropriate biodiversity finance plan. The initiative is hosted by the NBA. A project on capacity development of statutory institutions for effectively representation of the ABS mechanism in India under the Indo-German Biodiversity Program for €3 million is being implemented through NBA is 3 states of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Uttarakhand through the state biodiversity boards. Steps taken by the Indian government to preserve nature. World Nature Conservation Day is observed on July 28 every year across the world to create awareness of natural resources conservation and protect nature. With the rise in the level of deforestation and losing wildlife, conservation of nature has become a top priority. In India, due to the rise in urbanization, issues like loss of forest cover, pollution and loss of wildlife has increased. Government has taken initiative to reverse the situation. Here are 5 initiatives are taken by the Government of India. The vision of creating Nagar Van Udyan scheme is to develop at least one city forest in each city, having municipal corporation or class 1 cities to accommodate a wholesome health environment and contribute to the growth of clean, green and sustainable India. Its objective is to create 200 city forests in the country and to create awareness about the plants and biodiversity. Conservation education of the people who are unaware of the damages that can happen due to their ignorance in the conservation of nature. Waste management under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, a mass movement initiated by the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi in the year 2014. The Abhiyan motives lies in the cleanness of the environment. He hopes to create a sense of responsibility among the citizens to help achieve Mahatma Gandhi's aim for clean India. The main objective of the Abhiyan is to recover resources for utilization through recycling and creating employment in the process. Project Tiger has been the most successful environmental project by the government. Project Tiger was adopted in the year 1973 to improve the decreasing number of tigers in India. It is a scheme sponsored by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and assists the tiger states for tiger conservation. The objectives of the project Tiger to protect and restore habitat, monitor them day to day, eco-development for local people and relocation of the people from the habitats of the tiger. The Government of India initiated the National Wetland Conservation Program NWCP to conserve and make acute use of wetlands in the country, therefore preventing its further degradation. The scheme was introduced with the objectives of undertaking extensive conservation measures in the wetlands that need immediate help. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change launched the Green Skill Development Program in June 2017. Green skills include conserving and protecting the green of nature, alongside creating awareness among the youth to develop and gain experience. In May 2018, during the launch of the GSDP mobile app, Harshvardhan, the Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, said that 2.25 lakh people will be employed through GSDP by the next year and about 5 lakh will be employed by 2021. new schemes. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change implemented the National River Conservation Program, sub-schemes of conservation of natural resources and ecosystems, Green India Mission, and National Afforestation Program, National Coastal Management Program, National Mission on Himalayan Studies under Climate Change Program, under the central sector and centrally sponsored schemes of Government of India. These schemes act as a corrective measures for the conservation of the environment and the viable development of various ecosystems. The ministry also monitors the implementation of the United Nations Convention to combat desertification and has been carrying out enabling activities and other obligations of the convention. The funding under the central sector schemes is 100% from the Government of India. Under the centrally sponsored schemes, as per the revised funding pattern from 2015-16 onwards, the Government of India's share is 50% for the rest of the India and 80% for the northeastern states and 3 Himalayan states, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, in the environmental sector. The Government of India is 60% for the rest of India in the schemes related to forestry and wildlife, and 90% in respect to the northeastern state and 3 Himalayan states. Act passed by the Indian government. Indian government has passed acts to conserve nature, which is explained below. The Wildlife Act was one of the most important acts enacted for protecting wild animals and birds. Control of wildlife was transferred from the state list to the concurrent list in 1976, thus giving powers to the central government to enact this legislation. The Wildlife Protection Act 1972 also included the Constitution of India, Indian Board of Wildlife, which actually took up the charge of setting up wildlife parks and sanctuaries. The main objective of the enactment of the Act was to put restrictions on hunting or poaching wildlife animals and birds. The Act includes rehabilitation of endangered and threatened species, preservation of biological diversity by setting up sanctuaries and parks, and granting permission to hunt the wildlife for specific purposes such as scientific research, scientific management, and collection of specimens for museum and zoological gardens. Collaborating with NGOs to create awareness for the promotion of saving and preserving wildlife diversity. This act is adopted by all the states except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They have their own sets of acts. The Forest Conservation Act comprises all types of forests, including reserve forest, protected forest, or any forest, irrespective of their ownership. The Act extends to the whole of India except J&K. The Forest Conservation Act 1980 has ample provisions promoting the elimination of deforestation and stating to encourage afforestation on the non-forest areas. It has imposed restrictions on the preservation of the forest without any prior central government approval and prohibits allotment of any forest land for non-forest purposes. Forest-dwelling tribal communities have rich knowledge and have good experience, but their contribution mostly goes unnoticed and honored. Amended Forest Act 1992. The Act made some provisions for allowing non-forestry activities with the prior approval of the central government. Wildlife sanctuaries, national parks are entirely prohibited from being used for any exploration or survey without prior approvals from the central government. Cultivation of tea, spices, rubber, palm, oil-bearing plants and cash crops comes under non-forestry activities. Therefore, are prohibited and are not allowed in the forest lands. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act provides prevention and control of any waste-related pollution, water-related pollution. It focuses on the maintenance and restoration of water quality on the surface and ground. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974 has set up 2 boards, central and state. These boards are assigned with powers and functions to control pollution. The Act has been provided with funds, budgets and accounts for these boards. The Act restricts any poisonous polluting matter into the flow of the water. That also includes punishments and fines for any violation of the provisions. So this is all about the today's lecture. Thank you very much. Goodbye.